All right, let's get right into it. If you have ever felt completely trapped by indecision, researching every single detail while life just kind of passes you by, well, this is for you. We are going to break down how to make choices quickly and, more importantly, confidently. Sound familiar? You're faced with a choice. It could be big, it could be small, and you just freeze. You're completely stuck, absolutely terrified that if you pick the wrong option, everything is going to come crashing down.
I think we all know these two people, right? You've got Steve, who just picks a restaurant for dinner in like 30 seconds and moves on with his day. And then there's Jane. Jane's an hour deep into restaurant research. She's read 47 reviews. She's probably made a spreadsheet, and now she is more confused than when she started. If we're being honest with ourselves, most of us have a little more Jane in us than Steve.
And that, right there, is the heart of the problem. It's called analysis paralysis. It's that awful feeling of being stuck in a loop of overthinking, where the more you research, the less clear the answer gets. And all the while, the very opportunities you are thinking about are just slipping away. The most frustrating part is when people say, "Oh, just make a choice." It is not that easy. When your brain is screaming at you that this one single decision could derail your entire future, just deciding feels completely impossible. I totally get it.
So let's talk about why the advice we usually get for this problem doesn't just fail. It actually, a lot of the time, makes the anxiety even worse.
Okay, first up, the classic pro-con list. It sounds logical, doesn't it? But what actually happens, you sit down and you discover that you are a genius at rationalizing. You can make the pro column for any option look amazing, and you end up right back where you started, but now you just have more bullet points to stare at.
And then there's the advice to gather all the information. Oh, this is a huge trap. The truth is, more data rarely leads to more clarity. It just gives your brain more things to obsess over, which just fuels the anxiety instead of calming it down.
And my personal favorite, trust your gut. Look, for people who are prone to overthinking, your gut isn't some deep well of ancient wisdom. It's a tangled ball of anxiety. That feeling you're getting isn't intuition. It's probably just fear, which is a terrible, terrible compass for making good decisions. Okay, so all the old advice is broken. What's the solution? Well, it's not about trying to magically develop better gut feelings or having more willpower. The real key to making faster, better decisions is about having better frameworks. These are simple mental models that help you cut through all the noise. But before we get to the frameworks, let's just name the enemies we're up against, because it's not just you. We all fall into these psychological traps. There's the perfectionism trap, where we're hunting for a flawless option that literally doesn't exist. There's the reversibility illusion, which makes us treat a small choice like it's permanent. Then there's good old information overload. And finally, my favorite, the future prediction fantasy, where we convince ourselves we can perfectly predict a totally unknowable future. Just recognizing these is the first step to beating them.
So here it is, the most powerful framework to start with. It's called the two-type decision sort. And it all boils down to one simple, powerful question. Can I easily undo this?
See, most of our daily decisions are what we call type 1. They're reversible. What book to read, what to make for dinner, which brand of coffee to buy. For these, the strategy is so simple. Give yourself 5 minutes. That's it. Don't look for the best option. Just look for the first good enough one. Pick it and move on. You can always change your mind later if you need to.
And this is a really critical insight. So many of us spend the vast majority of our mental energy on these low-stakes, reversible choices. We treat picking a restaurant like we're choosing a life partner. The secret is to stop. Recognize when you have a type 1 decision on your hands and give it only the minimal energy it actually deserves.
Okay, I hear you. But what about those tougher choices? The ones that aren't so simple? For those moments when you are really, truly stuck, you need a few more tools in your decision-making toolkit.
For those medium-sized decisions, think a job offer or a big purchase. Try using the 10-10-10 rule. Asking these 3 questions forces you to separate your immediate, emotional reaction from the actual long-term impact. And you'll find that so often, what feels absolutely massive right now won't even be a memory in 10 years.
Now, for our next tool, what on earth could this number have to do with making better decisions?
70%.
This is the 70% rule. It's all about fighting that powerful urge for perfect information. The reality is that last little bit of data you're desperately searching for is the hardest to find, and it almost never changes the outcome anyway. Make the call when you're 70% of the way there. Waiting any longer just costs you time and opportunity.
Okay, this one sounds a little crazy, but stick with me. It is fantastic for when you're truly stuck between two options. Flip a coin. Now, the point isn't to let the coin decide for you. The point is to notice that split-second feeling you have the moment it lands. Are you relieved, or are you a little disappointed, secretly hoping for a do-over? That immediate reaction, that is your real gut feeling, finally cutting through all the noise.
You see, all of these tools, they're really pointing to one big idea. The objective is not to make a flawless, perfect decision every single time. That's a fantasy. The real goal is simply to make progress.
Let's go back to Jane for a second, the one who was drowning in research for a new job. By using these frameworks, she realized she was chasing a myth. She stopped looking for the perfect role, used the 70% rule to choose a good enough one that moved her forward, and she just got started. And this really captures the central idea perfectly. A pretty good choice that you make today is infinitely better than the mythical perfect choice that you never actually make because you're still researching. Action and momentum, that's what really matters. And that leaves us with maybe the most important takeaway of all. When you think you're not making a choice, you're wrong. You are making an active decision to stay exactly where you are. Indecision isn't neutral. It's a choice for stagnation. So the real question is, how do you break out of that? Start small. Just pick one of these tools, the 2-type sort, the 10-10-10 rule, whatever feels right for you, and consciously apply it to your next 3 decisions this week. It doesn't matter how small they are, just see how it feels. And hey, if you found this content helpful, please share it. And of course, please make sure you click like on this video and subscribe to our channel. It helps us a ton. Thanks for tuning in.